All right, how's it going, everybody? This is Ismortah, and this is episode 38 of my custom Kingdom Death Monster campaign. And this is the tail end of Lantern Year 11, where we're finally doing a showdown. I know it's been action-packed and also death-packed. And this against a level 1 Screaming Antelope, the showdown phase. And what's going to be challenging, though, even though it's only level 1, is we only have 2 survivors. One of them can either use 2 clubs or the Twilight Sword, and the other one has a King Spear. And then both have a couple utility things they can do as well. With the Screaming Antelope, that she can yell, whereas with Boss Mindy and the other survivor can increase the speed, and I'll also bandage, and also do the harp to get rid of a mood. While the person with the spear has some bonus luck in addition. Alright, sounds good. And as you can see, we're already set up. There's some additional acanthus than last time, just because Jer, who has the Screaming Antelope set, can introduce more acanthus plants. It actually has a bonus picking up acanthus plants. And picking up acanthus plants for both is probably going to be important, because you can instantly heal one area. But granted, remember, the only person that can actually take physical damage this combat is actually Jer, because Volva is immortal, meaning whenever she takes physical damage, instead it's converted into brain damage. So she effectively has no armor, so that's why it doesn't matter the fact that she has armor or not, because she can't take physical damage at all. Which is good and bad. That means if you keep getting hit in the same place, like the head or the chest, instead it's like I have 7 armor instead of 0 or 2. But the problem is if you get just hit a lot in general, she's gonna not live too long. And she also can't spend survival. Jer can spend survival, but she only has 2. But both do have a strength token, which I've house ruled I can use like a survival, even though, because I'm house ruling is in the game rules that says that you have to spend survival for survival actions, but this is saying instead I can do a strength token. So you can roll whether you spend it like a survival or you spend it differently, but you can use it as currency towards survival limits. I'm just saying that it's its own currency. So technically, what I'm saying is Volva then technically has 1 survival she can spend, but she'll lose her strength bonus. Jer has a strength token, but also has 2 survival. But in any case, they have very little survival, so I have to make sure that, unlike before when I was going to try to crit farm the creature, I really just need to kill it as fast as possible, because I'm on the clock as far as survival. I can only take a certain number of hits for a certain period of time. Cool. Alright, like I said, we're set up, so let's go ahead and jump into it. So this was not an ambush, so we don't get to go first. It's just a typical round, and the monster goes first. Monster, again, has 10 hit points, or actually 11. Has 10 AI cards, so technically 11 hit points, because you kill it if you do damage when there's no AI deck remaining. And recall, it does have trample, so if the monster ever collides with a survivor, then they also take 1 damage. Alright, cool, let's do it. And hope this goes well for the team. So we're starting off with Great Kick, which might be a good thing, because that means we go through a really powerful card and maybe it's wasted. We'll see. So it says, pick target, a random survivor in the blind spot. That does not satisfy. The farthest threat in field of view. There is no threat, because to be a threat, you have to not be knocked down and be in field of view. But this is blocking line of sight. So the only things that would block the creature's line of sight are objects, or if it happened to be in the blind spot. So because of that, he grazes. So we did, fortunately, waste an A card, which is great. delay it even. So graze, the monster full moves to the closest acanthus plant and ends its turn. And then if it's on it, it'll heal. So I started closest to us just because it probably heard us coming, you know, sort of thing. So it's the closest one, I would say, is probably this one. Plus he's kind of looking that direction anyway. So he's going to full move this direction and heal 1, but he's already at max health, so that just goes away. Okay, now it's the survivor's turn. Alright, so unlike before when he had Gobble, I would purposely consume all of this first, but I just want to get in range. And because people are so limited on survival, I actually am not going to be able to dash this entire game. Because one, Volva can't do survival actions unless she spends at 1 strength. And then Jared only has very few, so it's dangerous to waste it on something other than preventing damage. So, because of that, let's go ahead. So I'm going to have Volva go ahead and eat this. And notice I gave her the sword to sort of embody the Twilight Sword. It's a pretty cool miniature. This is one of the Intimacy couple. It's actually from that picture of the Intimacy painting in the book. It's the same character. It's pretty cool. So she's going to eat this acanthus plant and then move. I'll just have her move as close as possible. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's go around this way. Still in the not a threat. And we'll see what we get from it. So we rolled a 1, which is something bites you, suffer 1 arm damage, archive the terrain. So I don't take arm damage, so I take 1 brain damage, because remember how that works? So she goes from 7 to 6. Not how I wanted to waste damage out the gate, so that was very unfortunate. But we'll see what the future holds. Alright, next we got Jer. He's going to pretty much do the same thing, but move to here. And roll, and I believe he gets a bonus. Yeah, he has +2 to his roll because of Screaming Bracers. So he has a 4, so that counts as a 6, which means find something tasty and consume it. If you do, gain +1 survival. Archive this terrain. So he gains. So it's like he found something tasty on the ground. So he gains 1 survival and goes from 2 to 3. So that's good. Because the person I actually want to more be the tank out the gate is actually Jer. Alright, so they both done their actions. I just tried to get a little closer. So now it's the monster's turn. I want to try to get within range as fast as possible. We've got Ravenous. It's another A card. So that's really weird. We've got 2 A cards back to back. That's interesting. And it was shuffled. But you know, it's happened. It's a third of the deck, so it's definitely probable. Pick target, the closest survivor, with consumable gear in range. So the Antelope can move 6, so it is in range, and I am the closest survivor, so he's going to go this direction. He's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Basically, it's going to go down and turn. But does he have consumable gear? That's the thing. If he doesn't, then he actually wouldn't move here. So let me check. It would have to warn consumable on it. So that would be a no. Otherwise, it's close survivor and field of view, which is still him. Okay. So this is a speed 1, accuracy 2, and then after damage, consumes 1 gear and targets gear grid, but he has no consumable gear, so that's not an issue. Like, for example, if I had the, like last Showdown, the Frenzy Drink, then the monster would actually eat it. Alright, so it's speed 1. There's no evasion. It hits on a 2+. That's a 9, so that is a hit. It's going to hit the hand. So that's 2 damage to hand. And we will absorb that. So that it goes from 4 to 2 on the hand. That's fine. Actually, this may be great, because now he's in range. I can actually do damage. I just want to be careful, because if he does like a trample or like a charge, I don't want both people to be right next. And I have to also remember that Volva, if she ends her act next to the monster, is knocked down or hits in the blind spot. So remember that not being in the blind spot's not a problem, but I have to remember that if the act ends, is it the act or the round? If the round ends with her adjacent, I'm knocked down. Which isn't like a huge problem, because that just means that at the beginning of her next turn, she'll get up anyway. Because she's not knocked down during his turn. But the problem is the Antelope has some abilities that abuses the fact that if you're on the ground, like to trample you or eat you. So that is why I have to be careful with being knocked down. Alright, so it's our move. So this guy does still have the ability that if I do a full move, but it does look like I'll be able to do it out the gate, because again, I don't want to waste survival doing it. Unfortunately. But it's like really powerful, but I just can't do it unless I do a full move toward it. But is it full move, or is it just in one direction full move? Let me read that, because that's an interesting difference. One sec. Oh yeah, you have to go in a straight line. Okay. So I think what I'm gonna do is just move here. That way, and be one away. That way, if it tries to rear and kick, I'm out of range. But then also, I won't get flown that far back if he tries to ram me, because the edge of the board was right here. So I'll move there, and then I'll attack. I know I like to do green. Let's do green. Okay, so his attack profile is... I know it's a she model, but it's Jer's a male. That's just the most accurate model I had. His accuracy is a 5 and rolls 3 dice. That's pretty good. Okay, so accuracy is a 5, so that's 1 hit. So I got a 9. And we got Restless Tiny Hands. That's something happens if I fail. Okay, and so my crit is actually, my luck is a 3, so that means on a 7 or better I crit, and then the strength is a 6, and his defense toughness is an 8. So I wound on a 2, and I wound on a 2, and I crit on a 7. So I really don't want to get a 7, so I get a resource and cancel stuff. So 2 or 7. Make sure there's nothing else I'm missing as far as bonuses. I don't think so. Okay, so we got a 6, so just shy of that crit, but we did get a wound, which is good. Okay, so that's end of his turn. Next we have Volva. Let me find another green. It's my fave one to use. Okay, so she's going to move and attack. Again, her thing is, I don't want to stop adjacent, but I kind of have to because I want to get hits in as fast as possible. Now I realized one of the things I could have done is attacked first with her. I was just afraid that if he countered, because if she's adjacent, then Boss Mindy can trigger and he can attack on the diagonal just one space. Anyway, I'll remember that going forward. It's fine. And I think initially, until I get closer to the end, I want to continue to use the hammer, because I still have a decent chance of hitting. And the hammer, the sword I can only attack once. But if I activate Blood Paint, I can do 2 smaller weapons. So I'm definitely going to primarily do the hammers, and then at the end try to do Twilight Sword, just so I can gain another proficiency in it. So, okay, so I'm going to move 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll just move to here. I'll do this so I'm a little bit closer to where he may be. And then we'll attack. Alright, so her attack profile is speed 2, but I can attack with both weapons, remember, independently. I remember when a trap triggers, it would interrupt all of the wounds for an attack, but it's not additional attack dice, it's a completely two separate attacks. Meaning if I get a trap on the first weapon, I can still attack with the second weapon as long as the monster's in range. And I'm not knocked down. Okay, so 2 dice, and I hit on a 7. It's a 6 and 6, that's 2 misses. But again, I can go again. So now I'll try hitting with the other weapon. We got 2 natural lanterns, which is great. So what that means is I do get, I'll use this to indicate it, else I can find it, -1 toughness. No, it's -1 speed. So the monster now has -1 speed, so it has 1 less attack it does on me on its profile. If I can find the speed token. I think I saw it. Okay. So he gets -1 speed till the end of his turn, which is great. And then that's 2 cards. This one goes back. So we got Pallet and Ferocious Spasm. Pallet will do a lot of damage if I fail. Reflex has a Zone of Death that he does a basic action. His basic action is Speed 2, Damage 1. So I think I'll do Pallet first, just so I can try to do more damage. I just want to try to not fail. Okay, so to wound with Vulva, my strength is a 6. So same profile. So I wound on a 2, and my luck is a -1, meaning I can't get critical. That means if I roll natural lantern, I'd add 1, and that's the number I'd have to roll. So I have 0% chance of critting, but I wound on a 2. We rolled a 9, so that is a wound, which is awesome. And this just had a failure condition, but we did not fail. Next one again, wound on a 2. No, and I cannot crit. We rolled an 8, so that is a wound. So far we've done 3 damage, which is awesome. Unfortunately, we didn't get rid of any A cards, because remember there were 2 A cards that we already saw. That means we'll see those toward the end, but at least we know where they're at. Okay, and then there's a reflex. The Screaming Antelope frantically attacks everything around it. So he would attack this person here, but he's at range, so the only target then was Vulva. And that is a basic action. So the basic action is Speed 2, but it's Speed 1 because it got dazed. So it's a 2 to, and Vulva's evasion is a 0. Actually, it's -1, so that means he actually hits on 1, because she's got a -1 evasion token. So it's basically a guaranteed hit. If all you have to do is roll 1, that's the smallest number. So these are both guaranteed hits. 3 to 9, yep. And it doesn't matter where the location is, because remember, it all goes to brain damage, it doesn't even matter. So it's 1 damage, 1 damage, so that's 2 damage. So she goes from a 6 to a 4 on Insanity, because she's immortal. And now it's the monster's turn. Alright, so I'm just going to take a quick bathroom break. And then continue. As you see, this is going pretty fast, just because the monster's not taking too many turns during our turn, like when I fought the hand, and I'm only have 2 survivors. So, and I've already done 3 wounds. Like I said, I really want to get those crits, but the only person that has really good crit right now is Jer. But I want to try to wound the monster as fast as possible to at least down to 25%, just because, again, I only have 2 survivors. And she only has 4 damage left she can take, and Jer can take a lot of damage, but only has 4 survival. So what I might do toward the end is just have Jer be the only person that targets and attacks. Just like try to farm, but again, it's more important for me to at least kill the monster and have both people live. But I do want to try to get some extra resources. But technically I did get 3. I've already gotten 2 hides, and I said I really needed hides, and I did get a lantern also. So. Alright, I will be right back. Alright, I have returned. Let's do some more Antelope action. Alright, so we got Bite, which is a B level card. Pick target, the closest survivor in field of view, which would technically be Volva. I really have to make sure she's not the closest target anymore. Like, she's got to hit from the side or something. She's taking way too much damage. Close target field of view, which is her. It's speed 1, but he's got speed -1. So that means I completely dodged the attack out the gate altogether, which is awesome. Tried to bite me, but he's dazed, so that was very successful. Great. Now it is our turn. That was actually really great. Alright, so what I could do... Oh, but you know what? She was also knocked down because she ended her turn. But now she'd get back up. But you know what I mean? Like, yeah. Alright, so I think what I'm going to do with her is attack and then move away a little bit. And then have him come in and attack. So I think I'll have her go attack and then move to here or something, and have this guy go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and attack from range. Yeah. Okay, so I'll attack with her first, Volva. Again, she is speed 2. Using the left hammer first. We got a 3 and a 7, so that's 1 hit. We got a Restless Eye, which is first strike, which just means that if you had many hit locations, you have to do this one first. The screaming antelope's massive eyes glisten with human-like fear. If the attacker is insane, which she is, cancel all hits and end their attack. Otherwise, the attacker suffers 1 brain damage. So it just ends the attack, but that was her attack. Okay. So now she's going to move away to, like, here. Or maybe I'll go to here. That way I can do Boss Mindy. I'll go to here. Oh, but you know what? She could still do another attack. She's got 2 attacks. Yeah, yeah, that was only her first attack. Okay, so now she's doing her second one. Because that ends her attack, but this allows her to attack with both weapons independently. Okay, so she's going to roll another 2 dice. We got an 8 and a 2, so that's 1 hit. And we got Restless Shank, which something happens if I wound. So again, I can't critical hit, and I wound on a 2, because it's 6 minus... 8 minus 6 is 2. So I wound on a 2. We got an 8, so that is a wound. And it says here, Restless Shank. Here's a picture of the card. Don't worry about trying to read it in time, because I'll read it to you. Roll 1d10 for each survivor currently in the monster's blind spot, which is nobody. So it just means that it would not kick backwards. Alright, so I would dodge that, and then I'll have her move to here. That way she can do Boss Mindy on this guy. Alright, so now I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That way I can get Boss Mindy's effect, which adds to speed. And I don't believe I got any 10s. I'm trying to recall. I don't think I got any 10s, so I didn't get a -1 speed on the monster. But it really paid off last turn. And we'll attack. So this attack is... And I have to remember, the other thing I could do if it starts going to shit is I could have Screaming Horns used when she doesn't have Insanity to give her another Insanity. Gotta remember that also. Alright, so I'm going to attack, so that's speed 4, because with Boss Mindy, it's 4 dice. So we got a 9, a 7, a 1, and a 3. So that's 2 hits. We got Restless Rump, get that rump. And Restless Muzzle, gotta muzzle it. So one has a reflex that will move. The other one just have a bonus. So I do the muzzle first. Okay, so again, I wound on a 2, but I also crit on a 7. So I really want to get those sweet, sweet crits. So I got an 8, so that is a critical hit. So not only is it a wound, but also the crit, which says, on the Restless Muzzle, you shock the beast with a blow to the face. The monster is knocked down. While a monster is knocked down, all reactions are canceled and all hit rolls succeed on a 3+. So the reflex is a reaction. So that means when I do this period, he won't be able to reflex, or she won't be able to reflex. All right, so now I do the rump. Wound on a 2 and crit on a 7. We got a 9, so we got another critical wound, which is awesome. So that's another wound. And then this crit says gain 1 Screaming Antelope resource, which is something I really wanted. Great. And we got a Shank Bone. All right. So far we've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So she's got 5 hit points left, the beast. And we know 2 of the cards are A cards that are left, so gotta be careful. So that should be it for us. I believe so. So now it's the monster's turn. Alright, so the last card is a B level card. So that means there's only 2 A cards in here because I've seen all the rest of the deck. Okay, so it's Gore. Full move in the direction the monster is facing and turn to face the closest survivor. So if I'm reading this correctly, the monster is going to move and trample by going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. I already forget collision. Like, I know if it stops, you're knocked backwards. Otherwise, I think you're just knocked down. So if I recall, and I'll check it, I believe JR then is knocked down and then gets 1 random damage because of trample. So that's 1 damage to chest. So chest goes from a 4 to a 3. So let me check collision again. I know you're only knocked back, but I believe if it runs over you, you're just knocked down. You're just only knocked backwards. I believe if it ends its turn on your space. I believe that's how it is. Yeah, if it go, yeah, yep, that's exactly what it is. Okay, so knocked down and took 1 damage, and then random survivor that's in range. So both these two are in range, so we'll do random. So we'll do odds, even. So it's odd, so we'll go after Jer again. Speed, and so we'll move back to here, and then we'll do speed 1, accuracy 2. Speed 1, so only roll 1 dice. And it does 1 damage on a 2+. It's a natural 10. So it's 1 damage to the waist, which goes from 5 to a 4. Okay, and after damage, the target is knocked down, but the target's already knocked down. Okay, so that's it for the monster's turn. And then I reshuffle the deck. So there's 4 cards left in the deck. Half of them are A-level cards. 5 hit points remain. Okay. So she was knocked down during the monster's turn, so she's still knocked down. So the only person I can attack right now is Volva, but if I attack from the side, the closest target then would still theoretically be him. But remember that if it's to the closest threat, it would then be Volva, because if you're knocked down, you're not a threat. All right. So let's see, what do I need to hit with Twilight? So Twilight Sword is 9 minus the accuracy. 9 minus the proficiency level. The proficiency of the weapon right now is a 1. So that means the accuracy is an 8. So it's hard to hit with the Twilight Sword. You really will roll 1 die. So as much as I want to level it, God, that's like really bad. Because like she can only take 4 damage total. As much as I want to do it, I'm not sure I want to chance it. I'd have to roll an 8 or better. So it's not like it couldn't happen, but it's 8, 9, 10. It's only like 1/3 chance. It just, the more I level the Twilight Sword, the better the weapon gets, and then the easier it gets to hit with Twilight Sword, the more you level it. But to level it, I have to wound with that weapon, which is basically a guaranteed wound because it's 9 strength. plus 1 strength, like it's guaranteed. It just, well, I mean, I could try it. I mean, I might as well try it. It just, if I do the hammers, I'm rolling 4 dice as opposed to rolling 1 dice. This thing. Plus the hammers again, if I also get a natural lantern, then the monster gets a -1 speed token. Shit. And a trap card could be coming up too, is the other thing. Which would do a lot of damage. You know what? Shit. What to do? Actually, I also have Monster Tooth Necklace. Actually, yeah. No, you know what? I'm gonna believe. Let's go to here. And let's do the Twilight Sword. So I roll 1 dice, but if I hit at all, it's a guaranteed wound because the strength is going to be, I add 12, and its toughness is only an 8. So it's a guaranteed wound. As long as it's not impervious, which I don't think the monster has any impervious spots. Unless I hit like a monster tooth or something. So let's do it. So 8 or better, it's a guaranteed wound. Here we go. No, it's 5. So that's a miss. And then she's going to get knocked down also. Which might be a good thing, because if they're both knocked down, that means they're both not threats. That means instead he's going to graze. So it'd be bad he gains a hit point back, but nobody would be a target, potentially. Okay, so that's it for our turn. Now it's the monster's turn, which is going to do bite. The closest survivor in field of view. It doesn't say threat, it just says the closest survivor. So that would be Jer. So that's speed 1. Hits on a 2. Roll the 2, so it is a hit. It's 2 damage and 1 bleed token to waste. So 2 to waste. So it goes from 4 to 2. And then Jared gets a bleed token. And remember, you need 5 bleed tokens to die. But still kicking. Alright, so now it's our turn. And remember, there's 2 legendaries in here. So it's most likely the next ones are legendaries. So now these both characters get back up. And then I can wail. Okay. So I could do damage again and then move here, and then she'll get a speed bonus. I could do that. The question is, do I try to do a Twilight Sword again or something else? The fact that there are A-level cards coming up, I feel like it might be good to... But I really want to hit with this Twilight Sword. So I'm going to do Twilight Sword. 1 dice, and it hits on an 8+. We rolled a 1, so that's bad. So then she's going to move to here, end her turn. That way it gets the bonus. And she'll stay close. So then she'll attack. Slay the beast! No! Alright, so she gets a bonus from Boss Mindy. So that's 4 dice. And it hits on a 5. And again, this person I want to hit anyway, the farm, because she's got so many swings and so much crit anyway. I just want to try to do 1 wound with Twilight Sword, really. Is all it is. Alright, so I hit on a 5, and I got 2 5s and 10, so that's 3 hits. We got Restless Flank, Restless Chest, and Giant Teeth, which is super dense. Meaning that if you hit there with a frail weapon, it gets destroyed afterwards. Alright, so I think I'll do it in this order. Basically, if I crit with any of these, I get an extra resource, and nothing bad happens to me. Well, this one says move forward in a straight line, so maybe I'll do that one last, actually. Just in case it goes to shit. Okay, so again, to wound is a 2, because it's 6, 8 minus 6. Wound on a 2, and I crit on a 7. We got a 6, so that's 1 wound. No crit. And then reflex, turn to face the attacker, which it's already doing. Again, 2 or a 7. We got an 8, so that is a critical hit. So we got another wound, and then we get a Screaming Antelope resource. So we got a pelt, which is great. And then lastly, we have Restless Chest. We got an 8, so that's another critical hit. So we got another wound. And critical hit on the chest. Gain 1 Screaming Antelope resource. And so Shank Bone. In addition, internal bleeding weakens the monster. The Screaming Antelope gains a -1 damage token. So now whenever it hits, the amount of damage that one hit does, each hit does, is -1. So it's -1 damage. So I didn't get -1 speed, at least I got -1 damage. And this is for the rest of the showdown. Okay, so one cool thing is the monster now has no more AI cards at all. Meaning, all the monster can do for the rest of this showdown is either graze to heal, or does a basic attack, which is just 1 damage. So because of that, then I could spend the whole rest of the time just picking up Acanthus plants with Jer, and then with Volva to tank, and then keep attacking whenever she has a chance to keep trying to hit with Twilight Sword. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. That way she can get a better proficiency on the sword. In addition, I can get some extra plants to use either as a resource or as a way to heal in combat, which is cool. Okay, so that's it for us. So now it is the monster's turn. And I did not end adjacent to the monster, so she's okay. Okay, so again, all I can do is the basic action because he's got no AI cards left. Actually, no. He's got bite. I forgot. No. Because there was 1 in the discard. So he's got bite. So he's doing another bite attack. That's right. He's got 1 left. So there should be 9 cards there. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yep. Because I was looking at the main deck and not the discard deck. Okay, you have to deplete the main deck, and if you ever do wound when there's stuff still in the discard, you reshuffle it and take from the top of that deck. Okay, so he's doing a bite attack. The closest survivor in field of view, which is Jer, and that's speed 1, accuracy 2. So that's an 8, so that is a wound. And it's going to wound to the waist, and it would do 2 damage from not just doing 1, but then he gains another bleed token. And that's 1 to the waist. So it goes from 2 to 1 on the waist. Okay. Yeah, so technically it has 2 hit points remaining. Shit. Let's change things a little bit. Let's try with her first. Let's move to here and try to wound with Twilight Sword first. Okay. So I hit on an 8. Yeah, we got an 8. That means we hit with Twilight Sword. And Twilight Sword has such high toughness that unless it's a trap card, it's a guaranteed wound. Restless back. Alright, so I add so much to the wound roll, it doesn't even matter. And I can't crit because it has -1 to luck. So we got 1 wound, so we did successfully wound with both characters with their weapons. Jared doesn't have any proficiency, but Volva does, so she will get 1 proficiency. and using Twilight Sword, which is awesome. And we'll end her turn there. So we get the 1 wound, which is this card. So now it just has 1 hit point left. So the thing is now is, because I know it's only going to do a basic action, is instead of attacking right out the gate, I could pick up the rest of the stuff first. It's something I could do. All right. And I think that is what I'm going to do. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Move to here. Or you know what? Or I could house rule, and I've done this before too, that when you finish the showdown, you get 1 chance on every item that's remaining. Because it doesn't make any sense that you could do a huge long showdown, but yet you can't do a showdown with the beast and then pick up stuff. So you know what? I'll just go ahead and do that for the sake of expediency. I'm going to see if I kill the monster, and then if the monster dies this round, which is highly probable, then I'm going to roll for this character to pick up all the Acanthus, and for her to pick up the bug, as we'll do. Okay, so we'll go ahead and attack. I'll stay in front. Actually, she could have moved to here. That way he gets a bonus from attacking at an angle. But, nah, I'll commit. Alright, so we'll attack as normal, so that's 3 dice. That hits on a 5. We got a 7 and a 10, so that's 2 hits. We got Restless Shoulder and Delicate Inverted Knee. So I definitely want to get the resources, so I'll definitely do Restless Shoulder first. Okay. Wound on a 2, crit on a 7. We got a 7. Great. That's a critical wound. So now the monster is dead. And we get another resource, which is a pelt, which is fantastic. Now the monster is dead. So we did it. So now what's remaining left for the stream now is I'm going to roll, like I said, for all this remaining stuff to loot, because no reason why I can't chance looting everything else on the Showdown board when Showdowns can go any different length of rounds. And then we'll do the aftermath. And then that'll be end of the stream. And then I'll show you everything we got in total. Okay, so I'll do the bug first. So Volva's going to try to pick up the bug. Because last time how this bit me in the ass is by not having survival or insanity. Technically, I have 1 survival. Because this says you can't spend survival, but this is saying that I do this in lieu of survival, so it's not a survival, but I can use it toward a survival action. At that time, I'm going to house roll it. That's how I've been playing. So the bug is... We'll see what happens. Okay, so I roll, and if carrying a scavenger kit, you have a bonus, but I don't have a scavenger kit. Okay, so I roll 1d10 to scavenge. We got an 8, which is, on a 4+, gain 1 random vermin resource. Okay. So we found a nightmare tick that when you consume it, different things can happen. Because she found a tick in a lantern, whereas Jer has basically all animal pieces. Alright, so now with Jer, we'll go around the board and roll for 5 different Acanthus. And remember, Jer also gets a bone. I can add 2 to the roll for every Acanthus. Okay, so these are special resources, so I'll go ahead and get those out, because most likely I will loot a couple of these at least. Alright, so rolling for the first one. And how much I add to the roll? I add 2 to the roll. 5 plus 2 is a 7, which means gain 1 survival. So it goes from 3 to a 4. Okay. Next one. We rolled a 7, that's a 9, so I do get an acanthus. Fresh acanthus, boom. Now we move to the next one. Got a 6 plus 2 is an 8. I believe that's enough. 8 plus fresh acanthus, so we get another acanthus. Boom. Next one. Got a 5 plus 2 is a 7, so it gains 1 survival, so it goes from 4 to 5. Alright, and then the last one is a 6 plus 2 is an 8, so that's another fresh acanthus. So we got 3 acanthus. Cool. Alright, so now we already got a bunch of resources. Now we do the aftermath. We attempted looting all of the stuff. We killed the monster. We carved some stuff off the monster. Now we're dismembering the body of the monster to see what other goodies we can find. So one of the things it says is everyone gets 1 hunt experience and then 1 weapon proficiency. Jer is not at age 1 yet, so doesn't gain proficiency, but does gain 1 hunt experience. Volva gains 1 hunt experience. And then 1 proficiency in Twilight Sword, because she did hit with the Twilight Sword. Okay. Next up, we have rewards. So if the monster is defeated, if anyone has 20 plus insanity, you know, they're driven mad, but no one has 20 plus. Jer has 13, Volva has 4. Right? Yeah. So now we just get 4 basic and 4 Screaming Antelope resources. Okay, so we get 4 of these and 4 of these. And again, what I'm really trying to get is hides. So I really want pelts and hides. I want monster hides and pelts is the main thing I want. Auxiliary, what I also want is a spiral horn and 2 monster teeth from the Antelope specifically, just because I could upgrade my guitars so they're better weapons. And then with the horns, I could start, if I want to, make another complete set of the Screaming Antelope, potentially. All right, let's see what we got. So for basic, we got Love Juice, which is great because I need to raise my population. That's actually huge. Monster Organ, and a Monster Hide. We have a lot of resources. And then we also got Large Flat Tooth. That's what I was talking about, what I want to get to upgrade my guitars. A Beefsteak, a Pelt, and a Screaming Brain. Now let's check right quickly to see if this has any special things that proc when I first get it. I think the only one that immediately procs says the Large Flat Tooth. When you gain this, a survivor of your choice gains 1 insanity. I'll give that to Volva just because she's a insanity tank. So she goes from 4 to 5. Alright, so that's it for the aftermath. Now I'll just show you what resources we got in total from this haul, and then that'll be the end of the stream. But we did succeed. It was a very trying Lantern year. We had a lot of people die, but we did gain a lot of resources. So there is a light. What was it saying, Batman? It's always darkest before the dawn, right? All right. So let me see if we can put some order to this madness. Okay, we've got 1 of these, we've got 2 of these, 1 of these, and 1 of these, 1 of these, boom, boom. Let's organize it at least by type. That I can sort of see how many different times I can innovate and that sort of stuff. Boom, 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 boom. Boom. I actually got some really, I did really good on the pelts. All right, so let's see what we got here. So, God, let me count this one time. I think I may have counted it incorrectly. Okay, so in total, I shit you not, from this lantern year, we got 19 resources. So we got some resources from people dying and hitting the hand. And then we got, I believe, a couple resources during the hunt when people died. And then we got a bunch of resources during the showdown when we were skinning the monster and looting the ground for plants and bugs. And then we got a bunch of resources directly from harvesting the Screaming Antelope itself. 19 resources total. And I would say argue definitely -1 because Love Juice I'm going to 100% use to try to get more people in civilization, obviously. But, one thing to note is since I only have 2 people, I only get 2 endeavors because you only get 1 endeavor for every returning survivor. So, okay, anyway, I'll show you what I got. So I got a Love Juice, which I can use to trigger intimacy automatically. We got a pelt, 3 of them, so I can use that to craft gear or toward making leather goods. Monster hides, which I can use toward innovating and or making the leather worker, which I got 3 of those. I got a Screaming Brain, which has a unique thing you can make from it, but I believe I've already made that, or maybe I didn't, I'll have to check, but it counts as an organ. A Bone Steak, a Monster Organ, which I believe I have a couple of those. Large Flat Tooth, which used as a bone, but also could use to make an upgraded version of the guitar from the cat version to the Antelope version, which has better accuracy and better strength. A Shank Bone, a couple of those. A Fresh Acanthus, which I can use as resources if I need to get rid of a resource, or I can actually use it to make a dried acanthus that I can bring in the battle. And then I have a Nightmare Tick. Again, I can use to consume if I need to get rid of a resource. Otherwise, it's actually too risky to try to eat a tick. I have bad luck eating bugs. And then a Broken Lantern, which I can use as a scrap resource when making certain weapons. And also, I kind of want to hold on to it if possible, because if I need lantern resources in particular later on, I have it. Because I don't know all the secrets of the lanterns. I figure like they might have some better value later, possibly. Yeah, so like 19 resources. So it's a good haul. We had some good death, but we got some good resources. The balance of light and dark. All right, well, that's all I have for this Lantern Year. The next episode will be Lantern Year 12, and we'll see what craziness ensues then, with only 2 survivors returning. And, man, brutal year, but a lot of cool stuff, a lot of cool resources, so it'll be interesting to see what all I can do with my stuff during the settlement phase, which I believe is going to be some story events as well. Well, thanks for watching, everyone. Again, this is Ismortah, and I'll catch you on the next episode of my custom campaign for Kingdom Death Monster.